that happen. Should we light a candle? Let's light a candle.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Today's day is July 5th, 2026. We're recording in Miami, Florida. My name is Lucicera Cruz, and on the radio I'm going by Seaguapah. I'm conducting an interview with Hattie Mae Williams, who's lighting a candle here for our conversation, setting the vibes. And this is all a part of Tides of Becoming, an ongoing sonic archive documenting the lives, practices, and imaginations of Miami's Black and queer community. So, Hattie, a cohort member recommended that we do like an icebreaker.
Sure.
So they suggested a this or that. So, okay.
I have to choose this or that?
Yes,
Okay.
this or that. Catching the moonrise at the beach or catching the sunrise.
Catching the moonrise.
Okay.
Wait, let me ask you one too. Can I ask you
Okay,
one?
yeah, you can.
Okay. Oceans or rivers?
Oh, I'm gonna say rivers.
Okay, me too.
Okay. Okay, how about the Everglades or like upstate Florida forest vibes?
I'm going to go with forest vibes. I don't know about upstate Florida, but just forest vibes.
Forest vibes. Okay, upstate.
I'm scared of the animals in the swamps.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Okay. Okay, do you have another one or do you want to
I
get
do. I have so many of these.
Okay.
Avocado or mango?
Avocado.
It is hard.
Avocado. Sorry. Yeah, I feel like an avocado is gonna always. I'm gonna trust it more.
I'm with you. I eat avocado every day, so.
Period. We got that in common. All right. So, Hattie, tell us where you're from.
I am born and raised in the county of Dade. I'm from Miami, Florida. Yeah, and I spent a substantial amount of time also in New York. I spent about 15, 16 years in New York. So I'd like to claim both, but I'm definitely a Miami girl.
That's lovely. I actually didn't know about your time in New York.
Yeah. I graduated from high school here. I graduated from New World School of the Arts, and I left right away.
Straight to the city.
Yes, I knew from a very early age I wanted to get out of Miami, as lovely as it is. It's like there's other places to be.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's an important part of being in this space. What I hear a lot from natives and even people who've transplanted here, like myself, being here, being present, and it's so important to take those trips away.
Yeah.
To come back to it and like really, I guess, like appreciate it for what it is. Where are your ancestors from?
Ooh, all over. So yeah, I like to identify as I'm a Black woman with multiple ethnicities. I have a lot of roots in the South, Georgia, North Carolina. My mom is Jersey. Going further back, Africa, Benin, Congo, Germany, Indian, Bolivian, right? So I'm a collection of a lot of folks, a lot of ancestors, a lot of work. Yeah.
No, it's so beautifully said. And speaking about the work and all that, when you're thinking about your ancestors, like how does that multiculturalism show up in your practice? Like, what is your spiritual practice?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so the ancestors show up all the time for me. I think that's another segue that led me to a lot of my practices. I think when I didn't have a name for things, I was already practicing hoodoo. And also I grew up in a spiritual business. My mom created this first version of Hattie's House. It was called Flossie's. Originally it was called Flossie's Funky Fragrances. Wow. It was a head shop back in the 80s originally. And so I grew up around the spiritual products. I grew up around seeing the Orisha, seeing the Lua in books and statues and oils. I grew up seeing people buying candles that said commanding, right? But how I was led to connect with my ancestors first is a lot of, important people in my life passed away, in my family. And then I just started playing. I started collecting things. I started putting things in jars, which is very, very hoodoo, very black, very root work, right?
Yeah.
So I claim hoodoo first, just because that's, I think, ancestral connection, ancestor veneration, lifting up the ancestors for sure. And also, I really love and respect Ifa. It's another system of divination where you find your purpose and alignment through the African diaspora, and that's a lineage from Nigeria, who also is also connected to the Orishas as well. Yeah, that was a
Okay.
long answer, but
It was a rich answer too. I guess this makes me think about you mentioned your mother's Flossie.
Yes.
Flossie's funky fragrances
Yes.
at first.
yes, yes,
And in my background research, I saw that it was in Overtown, right?
yes. So
At one point.
she started on 7th Avenue, and then ended up in downtown for a long time.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah.
as well. So you said that all that exposure to these spiritual practices, right, across it seems like
Yeah.
different regions and different like lineages, exposed you to, I guess, another way of like relating to like your faith, and that in the passing of family members, that's when you were called to really start investigating that for yourself. So I'm just curious how besides like these personal losses that you were like experiencing, how else was like your greater environment like involved in like calling you to, I guess, explore that more individually? Like, was it just
Yeah.
being in the shop? Was it other people coming into the shop?
Yeah.
Like what other like, I guess, communal aspects were a part of you like looking for and defining this for yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, and you're right. It was definitely people and environment and community coming into these spaces for sure. I think, gosh, Miami's so rich. Miami has so many different demographics, age groups, and really, I think being a young kid trying to make sense of everything. I mean, also I was born in the '80s, so it was a very different vibe. There was like plume flowers and incense and weed smoke, kind of like now, right? I guess, but it was it was a party scene. It was. I also remember my early memories of Miami was very, very black. A lot of Caribbean folks around me, a lot of black folks around me, a lot of people coming together to help each other. We all knew our neighbors. We all heard different types of music. So all these things were kind of influencing me of like what I wanted to do, how I wanted to be. I would see a cool community member, or I would see how my mom was selling this product more, or I was curious about who are the people who were buying this type of candle. So I always had like, that was always like my world. And then I think as we are young and as we're still making sense, I have to assume, of when people pass away, right?
Yeah.
So I started, honestly, the elements were a big factor. Earth, wind, fire, air.
Yes.
I would say kind of even more so than people, to me, honestly.
Wow.
So I was more attracted to, what does it mean when like water does this, destroys, when I'm in a bathtub. I started really picking up on stuff like that when I was younger. I was also very intrigued by fire. I wasn't an arsonist. I didn't burn things down, but like I was really curious about, okay, fire can destroy things, but then also you can rebuild. And so then that's another segue to how I got curious about the African diasporic practices, because it really is about honoring the elements, you know? Yeah.
No, that's something I think, yeah, a lot of the time when we're thinking about, spiritual communities and practices, it's always like, oh yeah, the people. But yes, like the elements and like how you interact with the materials around you, right, is what like leads you to like maybe a more profound understanding of like what is existing in front of you. And so I'm curious, you mentioned New World as like one of the segues of you exploring. New World is a arts college, right, in the Miami-Dade college system. So I'm curious, like when you were thinking about the elements, thinking about like these different traditions that you were raised in and your independent like research, how were you exploring that while pursuing your arts practice? Like what how did you study that and like come to terms with like your own definitions of this?
Yeah, so I went to New World School of the Arts High School. They also do have a college component.
Oh
And
yes.
I dance, the art form of dance, also like music, also like the medium of painting and theater. It's a very embodied practice. I dare to say it's a little bit more embodied than the others. But also too, that's just my experience, right? So I think when you are embodied and you're feeling something, you're moving and you're drawn and you're affected by the rhythms, that's spirit, right? So I will say that's how I was maybe practicing then. But full transparency, when I was in high school, I was just really trying to like make it and survive and like get to New York, like and it was really honestly more so when I moved to New York that I was surrounded by so many different practices in a short amount of space. And then like, Miami is diverse, but it's a different type of diversity from New York.
Wow.
In the sense of like from one block to another, you'll hear Mandarin, you'll know the Arabic people at the bodega, you'll know this person in this building is a santero. You also know this Puerto Rican person is claiming their blacklist. Like there's a whole different like can of worms there, right?
Okay.
So I was more what's the word? Free, I want to say, in New York to explore and be exposed to so many different, also queerness. Like I still feel like here in Miami, queerness is very taboo still here. I mean, also too, I'm from a different generation, but like I was really intrigued by New York. It was my first time going to a ball. It was also the 90s. Like hearing house music for the first time was like life altering for me. It was like super spiritual.
Yeah.
And it was just really a lot more open, a lot more free than I experienced here in Miami. I also left Miami in like 1999. Very, very different world back then. So yeah, I feel like honestly leaving Miami, but also having that base and the springboard, which is Miami's a very spiritual place. So I had the grounding, but for me leaving Miami
Gave you more
really,
context.
yeah,
And gave you more like open-endedness to like see how different like cultures and different people were practicing those things that maybe you were being exposed to in Miami, but like within the container of like, oh, I've known these people my whole life. I know my mom.
Yeah.
When now I'm going to a new place where I'm a stranger.
Yes.
And I'm learning about strangers and their work, and it's like inviting me to like maybe look at things like from a different perspective.
It was really interesting. I really felt that in New York, people are a little bit more open about what their practices. I feel like here, for historical rightful reasons, right? People are very tight-lipped about what they do spiritually. So there was a lot of things I wasn't privy to. I knew it was happening. But in New York, not for some reason, I know why, but like people were a little bit more open.
Can you say more about like the openness, like in what ways were you being like invited into that? Was it something that you had curiosity in, and as you asked questions, people were like, oh, I'll tell you about what's happening here? Or was it like, were you finding that?
It was actually really kind of serendipitous moments where like random people would come up to me in the street and like give me a reading and then invite me to like a ile, like a house, like a party or a Orisha birthday party, or I'm at this party and all of a sudden this is happening in this room. And so then an elder is at a party and like all of a sudden I'm sitting next to this elder talking, It was like so many serendipitous moments like that really for me that happened. So.
Wow. So you had your time in New York. How long were you there?
I was there for 16 years.
16 years. And so what prompted you to come and leave New York and come back to Miami?
I'm still very much attached to New York. I'm not sure if it's a healthy attachment, but I'm still very much attached to New York. Miami's my home. There were some really big things happening for my family and I wanted to be a part of. There was also a disconnect from the elements that I was missing. And it was starting to affect me. So the plan was just to come here, and I got this really beautiful Knight Foundation grant, and I was going to come here to do this project for the Miami Marine Stadium, and I did a film for them, and then I ended up just staying here. I was really intrigued by how, things were shifting here. Yeah, I just ended up staying here.
What were those shifts that made it like more welcoming for you to like come back and root here?
Yeah, well, I think Miami's always welcoming, right? Especially if you're from here. I think there's always the door's always open for you, right? I think also I got a little bit hypnotized by just being back. I think Miami I think the energy is very fleeting. I think something comes and then it goes, almost like the ocean floor, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. So I think I got swept up in some of the things that were like, woo, arising, but then like years later it quickly left.
Yeah.
So, but I do like this ebb and flow of energy that Miami has. Just for me as a native, it's a little bit frustrating that something's not sticking. So certain things for like certain artists, or not certain artists, just for artists or demographics, how things don't stick. That's why I'm super happy to be a part of this, because Masisi is sticking, and it is here. And I'm really, really, really inspired, honestly, yeah. And that's another reason why I ended up here and staying here, because there's an element of Miami where you can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
Really. It's like do first and then apologize later. I like that energy here. I think it's really important for artists and activists and people to still keep that energy of not asking for permission and seeking liberations, which is also very hoodoo. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I answered the question, but it was time to come back, and now I'm here.
Now you're here. And so I'm curious too then, like when you're talking about doing what you do and apologizing about it later, like in what ways have you been doing that in your practice and your tenure here? What have you been like claiming for yourself and your space here in this like you said, this ebb and flow, very ever-changing environment that is the city?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I think I'm still finding ways to express that, but I'm just really into always being authentic as much as I can. And just taking risks. I also love there's a really beautiful group of people I'm starting to be in a relationship with and collaborate with. I think collaborations are so important. You can't do anything by yourself, not successfully, I think, at least. So I'm really drawn to Miami and the community in that sense, that there's really, really smart, beautiful, lovely people who want to get together and build together. So I try to create spaces like that for folks, support people in those adventures. And I'm a mother, so like this whole thing of like radical authenticity and liberation is really just like what I'm always thinking about. I want my babies to be free. I want them to be safe. I want you to be free. I want you to be safe. You know, so there's always an element of that in my spiritual work is showing up,
Yeah. No, I hear that. And I think that is, a very valuable, like part of the practice of like growing and sustaining something is being open to like the changes that are like taking place and the people that are present and that are also dedicated to, at least at the very least, exploring what that liberation could look like on a collective level, because it does go way beyond, your individual efforts for what you do for yourself or even what you do on behalf of others, right? Because like ultimately they would be included in that conversation. And so let's get into the shop, your shop, Hattie's shop. Can you tell me how it started, how it opened? Where's the journey been taking you in establishing a physical place?
Yeah, so Hattie's House 305 on Instagram. How did it start? Yeah, so I started with my mama. I get it from my mama for sure. I think I have two older siblings too. I think we were always hustlers. I think maybe that's a Miami thing too, depending. Like we were born in the business of selling, right? Of providing what community needs. We watched my mom do that. Everyone in my family is a very hard worker. So I knew I had that. And then I chose dance as my discipline and my career. But when I moved back here and I had my first child, it was the first time I was ever pregnant, right? So it's a very bizarre experience. It's a very like I had my belly was expanding, my back was arching. I was like, woman, mama, woman, like, you know. And I've always been that, but it's very different when you're creating bones and brains and organs in your body. It's a life altering experience. So then I started like kind of doing energy work while I was pregnant. And my mom is the master of fragrances. My mom, that's one of her specialties. She's a fragrance witch. She could smell anything, do anything, make anything for any purpose. So I've learned a lot from her. And I was like, I want to create a chakra line, because for the first time, like my root chakra, my foundation, right, and my sacral, my emotional body, my sexuality was expanding, right? And I also felt moments when I was pregnant of being incredibly nurtured and incredibly unsafe also. So I got really into this whole making a chakra oil line. You got the root, the sacral, your heart, you know, your solar plexus, your throat, your third eye, right? And that's how it started. I made this line, and then I was just only sharing it with like some of my sister friends. And then I was like, how am I going to make money? And I was like, my mom has given me the blueprint. I know how to run a business. And so I just took a leap. And my business is a little bit different from her in the sense of like, I focus more so on the African diasporic practices and on products that we make. My mom is not to say that African diaspora is not universal, but her approach is a little bit more open and universal. She's also a crystal queen. Like she's energy crystal queen and fragrances. And I was really focused on how do we repair, protect, specifically Black, queer, people of color. It was my focus for Hattie's House. But that doesn't mean that anything else was excluded, you know, but that was just like my focus. Yeah. So it really kind of just stemmed from me being pregnant and having to work on my chakras. Wow. And then it built, and then 2020 came, rocked us, and then I wanted to close because I just wanted to preserve my energy more so for myself and my kids. I didn't want to support community, to be honest, because it's a lot. When you are a spiritual worker and you're holding space for people, it's hard to set boundaries if you don't. It was hard for me to set boundaries at that time, I should say, because I was expanded. I was like this, you know? Yeah. Because of the pregnancies, I had 2 kids back to back, and I was holding space for community and energy, and 2020 happened, and people are dying, and it was wild. And I was like, I have to, you know what I mean?
Close it off and hold some of that for yourself.
Yeah, so I've had 3 iterations of Hattie's House since then. Yeah.
Wow, okay. Yeah. So COVID was one of the first catalysts in changing how you were structuring Hattie's House and your the ways that you were like providing like these healing tools to the community, right? Yeah. And then, so speaking more about that, like, and what other ways had like that time COVID impacted how you like navigated being in the city? Because even in my experience during COVID, I feel like Miami like shut down, but it didn't really shut all the way down. Yeah. And so I'm like, it was still very active, and it was a time of a lot of political unrest with all the protests happening, and you know, it was like a dire need for a lot of people to feel so connected to their community with all the isolation. So how were you like navigating that as someone who was providing the services, had to like kind of hold back a little bit because you were like starting to raise your family, and also seeing like the real need that people were like experiencing, even like maybe more excruciatingly under these like under this context?
Yeah, you know, honestly, and I'll say this very carefully because I know COVID was not a great time for a lot of people, and it necessarily wasn't for me. But I will say the thing that I did experience that I wish I could get back to, there was a peace in it. There was a quietness. There was a real connecting to the elements again. Like I went on walks every day. There this whole new technology thing of like, oh, now we have groups online. So like I was able to set boundaries in that way energetically.
Yeah.
Oh, I could give you a reading this way. Right? People didn't have immediate access to me like they did at the store, and that really helped. And I think I really enjoyed how certain demographics and communities were really banding together. That was the thing that I really felt and noticed during 2020. How we were all supporting each other. So that's kind of how I navigated at that time.
Yeah.
And I also got really heavy into the Orisha work and energy work too, you know? And I think it's also really important for us to just remember that we need to practice stuff, even if it's just like be nice to yourself, your mental inner dialogue, you know? Like what you think is a prayer, what you say is a prayer. And it's really powerful. It's really important, you know?
Yeah. No, it does speak to me how you say, speaking about practicing things just for the sake of understanding everything that you do communicate, think through, and try and revisit, right? In your mind is like a powerful source of like alchemy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, you know, we touched on it briefly, but about your dance practice and that type of embodiment. So how has dance been a part of this journey for you across like all these like spiritual growth that you're happening and like the challenges you're facing, you know, being from Miami, seeing the ebb and flow, raising a family, like how has that practice like supported you?
Gosh, dance has saved my life. Oh, dance has saved my life. It's that was the medium that chose me. There's an element of freedom to moving my body. I think movement can express things that words can't, you know, or at least for me. It has helped me connect more. It's helped me be more in tune when something's wrong with my body, like ouch, or when I need to rest. I think it's a very vulnerable practice. It can be. So that's what I really appreciate about dance. It helps me remember to be authentic and to be vulnerable, right? Yeah. There's things that your body can't lie about. And I love that about dance. And also too, in certain ways in practicing, you can be, you know, I'm pretty sure some of us can relate to, we're on the dance floor, you hear some music and you just feel like you're kind of like in a trance, right?
Yeah.
Like that's prayer, that's spirit, that's, you know, that's connection. So I'm like, I get chills when I talk about it because it's like, it's nothing better, honestly, you know? I'm not really sure if I'm answering the question, but that's just like.
No, you're speaking to the power of it, right?
Yeah.
And how it does, if nothing else has you, then movement has you, right? And like carries you through. Yeah. Maybe moments where you are feeling disconnected.
Totally. And, you know, dance for me has helped me travel the world. And, you know, I mean, there's nothing, the arts are really important. You know what I mean? Now I'm an art soapbox, but like the arts is really important. It can change your life. It can change your experience, who you meet, where you go. You know, I've been super lucky.
Can we talk about these like travels and the dance and like what have you taken from those experiences and like what did it ask of you when you were putting yourself out there?
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah, so I went to New World and I moved to New York. I went to Alvin Ailey Dance Theater, where I got my BFA from Alvin Ailey at Fordham University. And then I met some really beautiful heavy hitters in the dance community. One of them in particular, who I have to say their name, an ancestor now, is Kevin Wynn. He was my mentor, my friend, changed the whole course of my life. You know, when you meet people, they put you in alignment of where you should be going and what you should be doing. He was that for me and many other people. And I'm also working on an ancestor project about him to remember him. Yeah. And yeah, so I was at Alvin Ailey, and then also, you know, my rebel spirit was like, this is too confining. It's too. So I created a company called the Tattoo Ballerinas. This is the logo. It's a girl with a machine gun. You know what I mean? And we would dance like all over the streets. And we danced in supermarkets and laundromats. We would dance in non-traditional spaces, and that was kind of like my vein. And then I danced professionally with other companies. We traveled Europe, and then I started choreographing. So it's like all these things, and I mean, the thing that I also teach right now. I teach at a college, Nova Southeastern University. I teach dance right now. My students they get a kick. I used to dance for the Backyardigans. That was like my New York City job.
Wow.
I did the dancing for the cartoon. So, dance has like led me in all these different avenues and worlds and types of people to meet. And usually people who are in the dance field, the arts field, the music field, have some element of connection with spirit. So I don't think it's a coincidence that has been my route,
Yeah.
And now I'm here making work, producing work, and,
Still like taking inventory to all the ways that your craft as an artist, your craft as a spiritual person is coming in and providing you like more space to like connect to those elements that move you.
Yeah.
So revisiting the elements, what's your favorite elemental spots in Miami? Like what are places that you visit that you're like, yes, this feeds me, this takes care of me?
That's a great question. I love Olita River. I love Olita River because you get the ocean meets the bay. You get a little canoe. You can see some stingrays. You see the mangroves. You can go across the street and eat at the Japanese buffet. I don't know. I love Olita River. I'm also I like the ocean, like going to the ocean, but I'm very respectful of the ocean. I don't really stay in the ocean too long, just me personally. And I feel like when I get in, they're like, she's here, and I'm like, ah. And I'm like, okay. So I love Olita River because I feel like we have a mutual respect. Where else? I have some really lovely friends who have really lovely houses with backyards. I really like those.
Where are they?
I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Yeah, a lot of my friends have kind of made their homes like sanctuaries. So I like going to places like that. I don't know. I like going to farmers markets. To be honest, I leave Miami when I need to have like a change with the elements.
Yeah.
I just got back from Georgia. Oh, it was so nice. I was in North Georgia, 2 hours north of Atlanta. Green everywhere, woods everywhere, waterfalls, like spiders, but it was just like a very different, very lovely. Yeah. Because Miami's lovely, but it's also very flat. So I want to be in like a hilly terrain, right? Like, yeah.
At time you need to be exposed to a different type of like elemental structure, right? Because Miami, like we talked about earlier with the Everglades, right?
Yeah.
All the creepy crawlies that are in there, very beautiful, very powerful spiritual place.
Yeah.
The ocean being a very charged space.
Very charged, yeah.
So let's talk about Georgia then. You were on an artist residency.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you besides like being in nature and like soaking up like that type of like terrain and energy? How was that for you in your practice and in your relationships? Because I know you mentioned that it was a cohort of like, artists, right?
Yeah, it was life altering. Honestly, it was beautiful. It was like predominantly Miami artists. We went to this residency called Hambridge, which is in Georgia. It was a whole nervous system reset for me, honestly. But like beautiful artists, like I'm sure you all know community members, Arsimer McCoy, Roscoe, who's a dope photographer, Jade Lilly, who's a dope photographer, Candy Lopez, who's doing these high, big scale, like yarn and portraits. It's amazing. And Juanita Valdez and Chris Friday. I think that's it. Shout out to all of them. They're amazing. So it was a group of fantastic artists from Miami. We had 2 weeks in the woods. We had our own cabin, our own studio. And it's one of these residencies where you didn't have to produce anything, which is very rare.
Wow.
Usually they're like, okay, you're here for this long. You have to pay this much money and you have to show something by the end of the 2 weeks. And because it was predominantly geared towards Black people and people of color, they were like, you all rest. Do art if you want to. It was like really, really beautiful.
Wow.
And it took, I'll speak for myself. It took me at least 2-3 days to really kind of be like, okay, I can rest, And then I was out there in the woods with the deer and the ticks and the spiders, but it was like beautiful. It was, I started working on some film stuff. Started working on some more ancestor stuff, abstract ancestor work with rocking chairs.
Wait.
Because there's this whole mentality. There's just, I should say, not mentality. There's this whole superstition that if you see an empty rocking chair and it's rocking, right, that is like a spirit, right? I don't know if you all ever heard that.
I have heard.
You ever heard that? I didn't know that. So listen, I get to the porch, this beautiful porch in Georgia. There's like 13, 12 rocking chairs.
They all rocking. No.
So I'm like, of course I'm going to stay here and play. And so that's what I did. I connected. I have family from Georgia. I did some movement with these rocking chairs, really analyzed what portals mean, And I think stuff like that happens when you actually have time to rest.
Wow.
That was just also spiritual work, right? Resting is also spiritual work.
Yeah.
It really is. Because when you rest, things come to you. And your body levels out,
Yeah, the moments that we're given to kind of slow down, right? And be able to listen to ourselves maybe a little bit more clearly than, let's say, like the day-to-day life that like asks us to, take care of ourselves, take care of our loved ones, making sure the bills are paid.
Which we do naturally anyway. But I think just we do it in the state of this, I think innately as humans, as people, we want to, eat properly, love people, take care of our friends, but like there's all this other extra high voltage energy that we just take on. So blah, blah, blah.
What have been some like rituals or like ways that you've like or even like daily rituals that have kind of like help you reframe, right? When you're going through, whatever you're experiencing in Miami, like having to raise your family and, do work on your craft. What are some things that like have given you that space to like rest or reorient yourself?
Some rituals. Yeah, that's a good question. I could also share some. So like super simple, I really try to make sure my house is clean. Ooh. Like that's a really big one. That's a really big one in spirituality and energy work. Like your house should be clean. Not should be, if you can. Some people don't have the ability to do that. I get it. But the cleaner your house, the less stuff you have in your house, the energy is different. Lower vibrational energy is not around if your house is clean. Your money flows differently if your house is clean. So I try very hard to always have a clean house. Specifically the bathroom. That's your money muscle. Just, fun fact. Kitchen's your health, right? We pray at night. We used to have this practice when we would pray in the morning before my kids leave, and I put a protection oil on. Boop. I have an ancestor altar, so candles are always being burned, veneration, and like just relationship with them. And it could be as simple as just like journaling in front of a candle and a glass of water. Or as simple as just saying one of your ancestors' names, known or unknown, right?
Yeah.
So those daily rituals help me kind of check myself. I think it's also really important to talk really nicely to yourself before you fall asleep. Like right before you fall asleep, you need to tell yourself something very, very nice. Tell yourself something very nice. I think it's very important. And also I think the whole like social media thing, like try to be off social media as much as you can. I'm not saying don't be informed, but there's something about all that I think that really messes with us. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of conversation about the ways that social media or just being in like very involved in the digital space can remove you from the elemental experiences that like, are available.
Yeah.
So we're speaking about home and keeping your home right.
Yeah.
So what is like a perfect home? Like what does like home mean to you besides like it being clean? Like,
what does it mean to me? It means a place of safety. It means a place of memories and honoring. It means a place where people you love and trust can come into your space and add to it, not just take from it. That's also very important. And also, home is a place of rest. Little fun fact, if you want to clean your house, just put some Florida water in a bucket. You could do it from like the grocery store or Hattie's House Florida water. Super simple, like, even salt, the element of salt. Just salt in the corners of your room could change the energy. Putting a bowl of water underneath your bed, before you sleep. These are all like energetic, like cleansings. We're from Miami, so I have to assume people know about camphor, the little white cube, camphor, cascarilla, or ifu, depending on who you ask. It's like crushed eggshells. You put that on the back of your neck before you pray. You put it, on the floors. You want to keep some people out? Put some salt and pepper and cayenne and all this spicy stuff and line your doors with it. These are all things that I think we innately know, and also we probably saw our parents do. Like if you grew up with wood floors, your mom probably used pine sol. That's super hoodoo. Pine is a very protective energy. So I think I got off on a tangent, but yeah.
The ways that you can like guard your home and keep
it
into that space that is safe and like can hold you.
Yeah. Or blue, the blue squares. It's called blue. It's like a blue square.
Yeah.
You can put that underneath you crush it up, put it underneath your bed, you put it in water, put it in a bowl.
There's so much you could do with blue.
Yes.
Okay, so something interesting I've been thinking about too is, do you have any songs or books that you constantly return to in your practice that like feed you?
I had to stop myself from being silly. Hold on a second.
No, you can be honest. I feel like being silly is a part of it.
Okay. Definitely a word of advice. Don't trust a big butt and a smile. That girl is poison. That's the first song that came to my head. So I love James Baldwin. He's one of my favorite authors. Love me some James Baldwin. He was one of the first Black authors I ever read, and for me changed my. And also I got to meet him when I was little, which also shows you how old I was. I am. So any book from James Baldwin. I love Another Country. Giovanni's Room is a classic. I always return to Another Country though. I love anything Nina Simone. I love Bob Marley. I love all protest songs. I'll jump into a protest song just to pull myself out of like negative thinking. Let nobody turn me around. Like that's like one of the first ones. And also I'm a fan of the Orisha songs. I love the Orisha songs and
Okay. No, that's a beautiful list for people to refer to or think about.
Gosh. Bell Hooks, who passed away recently, unfortunately, I think all of her, I love hearing her talk. I think also Catherine Dunham, a huge, beautiful activist, historian, Haitian folklore dancer. She's amazing. I think also too, just to reiterate, I think it's really important to talk to your relatives or your family members that are living. I think these are also the stories that are very important for us to hear and remember and write and be moved by those stories as well,
Yeah. No, I think that's something, or I'm fascinated by you highlighting how important it is to talk to your living people as much as we it's just important to like venerate our ancestors, be connected with our past and be connected with like the tools that or stories or things that carried them through their times to get us to here, that we also are very present with who is still alive and how we can take stock of the medicine that is being practiced now. Maybe we didn't see that clearly when we were in like close proximity, maybe growing up, but like once you have that time to like separate and find yourself a little bit, that you can still come back to those people as a source.
And just simple questions too, like ask your grandma or your grandfather, like what did you cook growing up? What did your mom cook you? Like these are all clues to like how you could venerate your ancestors. Like what did you read? What kind of music did they listen to? What was the psalm? What was the Bible version? Was it King James or was it, you know what I mean? Like these are all questions that I know I want to say this very carefully, because when I had Hattie's House, and I still have it, it's online, but a lot of people within the diaspora would be very like, I can't ask my folks these questions out front because then they're going to be like, what are you doing? Witchcraft? You doing voodoo? Not, so what? Yes, maybe. But like, I know there is an element where you have to kind of protect yourself and not make your certain family members worried. So questions like, what did you eat growing up, is a good question that doesn't raise any eyebrows of what you doing with that white candle, right? But these are really clues to like bigger stories and bigger ways to venerate.
So, that being said, you said Hattie's is existing online right now. So people are reaching out to you and asking for some of that guidance and perspective. How has this iteration, what do you hope for this iteration of Hattie's House? How do you hope that it exists and or persists like during the changes that you're currently going through?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'm still trying to figure it out. My first thought is I would like to be teaching people more. One of the reasons why I got burnt out so often with Hattie's House is people want me to do the work for them, and I do understand that is a way that you can be in this business. I personally don't want to do that. I am a huge fan of teaching people how to do things, you know. Yeah, because I'm still working on myself, so I don't have the capacity to work on other people. But I want to definitely I picture myself having more classes, virtual stuff. I do readings as well. And I really like making the products. You know, I make my own Florida water. I make my own protection oil, my love oil. So I really just want to be doing my thing and making it.
Yeah.
And then y'all just buying it. And then, you know, assisting with divination work and having gatherings where we're healing together. And I'm teaching you how to do your own rituals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I was telling a sister friend over here that I might have a little gypsy truck. I don't know. Ooh. A little ice cream Hattie's House truck.
I would love that, actually.
Whose house, you know? And then, I don't know.
No, that's exciting to think about or important to think about when we're like considering people that we rely on as spiritual leaders to be this like ongoing access or touchstone, right? And like how can that affect someone as they're in the midst of their own life, like figuring out how to take care and sustain themselves with everything that's happening. So I'm very glad that we're in a place in this conversation where we can acknowledge that like this work is important, is meaningful, and it does so much for so many people, and also like calling in that support back and all that like understanding of how the layers it takes to like be this person, to do the work to be this person, but like calling other people to do that work for themselves and that they're able to, right? And it's not like a far off thing where, okay, if you weren't raised in this, or if you're coming in with no understanding, that you don't have access to some wisdom or knowledge that can empower you and empower others. We're in our last 5 minutes of the show, so I'm curious if there's anything on your mind and heart that you would love to share to anyone that's watching about what does it mean to like center like Black, queer, and diasporic, you know, arts, spirituality. Like what does it mean to like consider that in like living your life, like regardless of where you are racially or anything like that? Like why is considering this like important?
I mean, why do we need to eat, to breathe air and drink water and eat food? I mean, that is the precipice of everything. I mean, you know, Blackness is the mother. Non-binary is universal. Like, there's so many systems and there's so many ways to go about things, but ultimately, we're here for a very short time, long time. Time is a weird thing, right? Our energy and our spirit is always here. We're always breathing, feeling, seeing, or not seeing those who were here and those who are coming. I think centering queerness, Blackness, art, music, like this is all made up of God. Anything that is the elements, everything that is rooted in liberation and love, this is Ashe. This is spirit. And I think, you know, you go in and out of it, but I think you should always circle back to it, no matter if you're in that field or not. Let's always circle back to liberation, oneness, and the mother. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, always, always, always. Yeah, and may our heads always find the surface.
Mm.
And whatever's going on in your life, may your head always find the surface.
Ashe.
Ashe.
All right. Thank you so much, Hattie, for
Thank
being
you.
on this episode and sharing so much of your wisdom.
Yep, yep.
Okay. So to close this episode out, Tied to Becoming is a sonic archive documenting the lives and imaginations of queer Black artists and spiritualists. And thank you, Hattie, again
Thank
for
you.
being
This is lovely.
an amazing segment in this
Oh, man,
in this
thanks. Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.